Hey everyone, welcome back to What Next? And this week we're going to go ahead and be going with the new movie Eternity. I just recently went and saw this one. I saw it about a week early, thanks to the secret movie club that Cinemark does once a month. This one happened to be the one I got to see. I didn't know what it was until I walked into the theater. Saw it, loved it. It was actually really great. A24 movie. So if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and go ahead and see this one. It's a cute little comedy love story that I think you'll be surprised that you actually love it. But again, we're not here to review it. We're here to ask what next. So if you have seen it, cool. Go ahead and listen. If you haven't, go watch it and then come back and that way you can watch this one and let me know what you think. Now, as far as what comes next for these, I know the movie kind of does end on a good note. You see Larry and Joanne walking off into their eternity with each other. It's kind of a, that general, like, standard Main Street USA where everybody's mowed their lawns and everyone's got a pool and a white picket fence. So they found their eternity together, which we all love, and found that, I was happy that Joan did essentially go back to Larry. Larry's where her heart actually was. She realized all that. But after that, I was kind of thinking, what comes next for Joanne and Larry? Because this movie could put a spin on the afterlife, in my opinion. So they're stuck in this, or not stuck. They picked this eternity. Well, they kind of got put there. We'll say it. You guys remember. So Anna and Ryan, their ACs hide them in this eternity because it's a discontinued eternity. So they started it way back when. It was an eternity for people who wanted to spend their eternities on, like your average Main Street USA where everybody's got a white picket fence and whatnot. So to me, it was interesting because the way everything was explained. So what happens to them now that they're in a discontinued eternity? Clearly no more people are going to be coming into it because it's discontinued. And that was the whole point of the eternity, is that this one didn't work out for whatever reason. So it essentially wasn't going to get any, upgrades, or any more people would go to it. So I'm just curious as to who they run into in that eternity, because now they're just stuck in eternity, not only with themselves or each other, but with these people that are there and have been there. Like, they're probably going to be the newest two people to show up in who knows how long. So that's what I was wondering too, is how long has it been since anyone's actually entered this eternity, and what do those people look like? Because when you see Joan pick her eternity with Luke, new people show up all the time because it's a current, eternity. They're up in the mountains. People are always showing up. They're picking all these activities to do to keep busy, or they're enjoying the scenery. So I'm just curious what that eternity actually looks like for them. Like, are there activities? Are they just kind of stuck at home where they can watch TV and be together? Like, to me, it's almost kind of like, imagine being able to be home with everything you want or need, no bills, nothing like that to pay, but you're stuck with your person, which is good. But to me, I'm like, do they get bored? Because they're with each other. They know what's going on. They're going to go on with their day to day. They know they're in eternity. So it's like, I'm just curious as to what their eternity looks like together. I think you could have done, or I think you could possibly do some sort of sequel with them exploring their eternity and seeing what kind of becomes of that. Or maybe the people that were after Joan, because she does escape her mountain eternity with Luke, maybe they come looking for her and they have to hide, and maybe you see them kind of jump eternities around. Like, I think something like that would be kind of cool. But yeah, that was kind of like my main thing for the two of them. Like, I think Larry was going to be fine wherever he wanted to be as long as he was with Joan. First off, he wanted the beach, like a beach thing, but then he realized that it was really crowded and there was way too many people there. So you don't want to spend eternity on a crowded beach where you can't even get a chair to sit by the ocean. So yeah, that whole kind of reviewing their eternity would be a little more interesting for me to see. Just kind of what happens next with that. And then we have Luke. So if you guys know the story, everything went on. Luke got Joan for a little bit. She decided, she kept going through that Hall of Records and, or like the memory record hall. And she just kept seeing that the whole span of her thing ended up like, while this much of it was with Luke, the rest of it was Larry and her family. And she realized that she couldn't spend eternity with anyone else but Larry because that was her dude. So Luke, he spent, we all know the story, he spent 60-something years waiting for Joan to show up in heaven so he can go spend eternity with her. So now he gets dumped in his eternity. Now, you see Luke in, when he's first in like the in-between zone, he's kind of like dating the ladies that are there for like a week or so till they pick their eternity. So he's kind of like the, he's the bartender, the players guy, the ladies man. So I'm kind of curious, does he kind of pick up that tone going into his eternity after all this, because I'm sure people are still coming in his eternity. Like he picked like this wilderness or mountains eternity where there's, there's zip lining and all these other activities they said to do. So, at some point, single people or people that, show up before their partners and they choose that eternity, they're going to go there and they're going to find Luke. And Luke is essentially single. So what does that look like for him in his eternity? Like, because not everybody that goes into their eternities are coupled up. Like, it's not always husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend. So he's now newly single in this eternity. So I'm curious as to what happens with him. Like, does he date? Does he get, I don't know if he essentially find somebody and get married inside of an eternity. Like, I don't know how that would work. That would be something interesting. Maybe they could explain, like I said, in a possible sequel. I don't think this one actually needs one. But again, it just kind of rang my bell as to what happens with him now that he's essentially in an eternity that he picked to spend with a girl that left him. And when he cries to the ticket taker guy, it sounds almost like people do break up in eternity. So to me, I was kind of like, so you could meet someone in eternity, essentially date, you break up with them, and then you're stuck with them in this eternity thing. So I don't know how big these eternities actually are, but imagine dating a bunch of people and then breaking up with them, and now you're stuck in this eternity with them. So yeah, I think that would be something interesting to see or to dive into as far as with Luke's concerned. But yeah, no, I think Luke ends up being okay. I think he finally accepts the fact that what him and Joan had was special for the small amount of time it was. Who knows what it could have ended up being. Could have went really good, could have went really bad. It's a huge what if for him, and it's just a question that unfortunately will never be answered because he did die at such a young age. But yeah, just going forward, I'm just curious what his eternity looks like now that he's alone. But, he's a young, handsome guy. Everyone finds him handsome, especially since you show up in eternity, whatever age you're the happiest with. So I think he meets somebody and is happy, But I think there could be some little drama in there too, because it seemed like he was definitely a ladies' man before he got to his eternity. So I'm just curious if he kind of goes back to that. So, and then we have the ACs. You have Anna and Ryan. Now I'm curious as far as what next. They leave. They're a couple again. So I'm curious as to how that goes, because it sounds like they've broken up before. I mean, they're stuck in eternity together in this, this middle zone where they're, everybody's ACs and helping them pick their eternities. So I'm curious if their relationship actually works out, or do they go back to breaking up again? Again, it's weird. Like, you date somebody and you break up and you're stuck with them for eternity in this, essentially like in their job, like they're stuck in in a middle zone. But I don't know. I'm curious too, because I would think maybe they could, they finally decide to be happy, and who knows, maybe they decide that they're done being ACs and they want to go off and pick an eternity themselves. I think something like that would be cool to see them go off and pick an eternity, or maybe Anna breaks up with Ryan again and she's just like, you know what, I'm happy finally being me, who I am, because we don't really get too much backstory into like how she totally ended up there and why she's there. But it'd be nice to see her pick an eternity and go off and be happy with or without Ryan, or same thing with Ryan. I think that would be funny. But yeah, that is all I have for this movie. Again, if you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and do so. It's been out for about a week now at this point, so give it a try. It won't disappoint. And then if you have any questions or concerns about this one, please let me know down below what you think. Maybe I missed something. I did only see it once, but I'd love to talk about it. So see you guys next time.